Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I am Dharani, your Sergeant at Arms. It's my immense pleasure to welcome you all for the 42nd chartered meeting of MVJCE Toastmasters Club. Mission of the Toastmasters Club is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members can develop a communication and leadership skills. Raise your hands. How many of you play video games? Video games? Great. And why did you play? And anyone? Why did you play actually the video games?
To spend time with friends.
Yeah. Yes. Some people play video games to chill, others for time pass, and some people will be there. Their day start with a video game and also ends with a video game. They are addicted persons. We all know the side effects of playing video game, but some studies have shown certain video games can improve hand-eye coordination, problem-solving skills, and the mind's ability to process information. But too much video game playing may cause problems. Let's get started. Before that, in every Toastmasters meeting, it's necessary to follow some of the rules. We call them as the ground rules or the golden rules. They are, please refrain speaking anything offensive about gender, religion, and politics at our club. We don't want to hurt anyone's feelings at any chance. As this is a virtual meeting, please keep your video on if your bandwidth permits. Make sure all your noise-making devices to be muted so that you can concentrate to the meeting. I would like to call a person who will take to this meeting ahead. She is a computer science and engineering student from MVJ College of Engineering, want to pursue a career as a data scientist, trying to balance out her life between a college and internships. Let's welcome our presiding officer, Toastmaster Aparijita.
Thank you so much, Dharani. Good morning, everyone. I was going to say good evening, actually. I welcome you all to the 42nd meeting of MVJCE Toastmasters Club. So for the benefit of the guests, what is Toastmasters? So it's an international organization which aims at improving your communication skills and leadership skills as well. It was created by a person called Ralph C. Smedley with the aim of helping out a few people in his community with communication skills. But now it has grown to a huge network of clubs all around the world. So with this, let's see if we have any guests today. I can see Dikshita. So hi Dikshita, could you please unmute yourself and introduce yourself to everyone?
Hi, good morning everyone. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
I'm Dikshita from Aeronautical Branch. I'm from first year.
Okay, so how did you come to know about our meeting, or do you have a friend who's here in the meeting today?
No, I got to know about this from induction program. So it was quite fascinating, this session. And that's how I came to know. So I thought of joining this.
That's really great, Dikshita. We hope that you have a nice time here today. Before we move on with the meeting, I would request all the people attending the meeting today to please turn on your videos. This will really encourage the speakers who are speaking, and it will really motivate them. Moving forward and coming to the theme of today's meeting. There has been a time in everybody's life when our mom and dad might have felt the need of snatching away their phones from our hands, or cutting off our PC time just because we all ended up sitting in front of the PC glued to the screen with full concentration, as if it was down to our life and death. The one and only reason for both of these situations were video games, which is also the theme of the meeting today. When it comes to video games, we all have our tastes. There are some people who are still dedicated to playing snakes on their phones. There are some who can't forget speeding up their bikes in road rash. And there are some people who are in love with Candy Crush. And some just love NFS Most Wanted like me. Well, before we start the meeting, I would like to tell a little story of mine. So when I was like in class 6th or 7th, my brother got this game, which is obviously NFS Most Wanted, and he installed it in our computer and he used to play it all day. And then one day he just came up and he's like, oh, I reached Blacklist 10, I'm doing really great in this game. And I sort of felt a little jealous. So I went and I decided that, okay, I'll also play this game. And with a lot of hard work and dedication, I finally could reach up to Blacklist 15. And that was the point I was so proud of myself that I used to go out and brag people about it. So that's how important video games are to everyone. Be it PUBG or COD, I'm 100% sure all of us sitting here might have had an addiction to one of these two. Well, to know more about the history of these games and a lot of fun stuff that is there in store for all of us today, let us welcome our TMOD. So according to our TMOD, when it comes to having fun, video games are his go-to. It doesn't matter what game it is as long as he's playing with some friends. And when he's not playing video games, he loves developing them. Please put your hands together for the TMOD. Vishal, over to you.
Thank you for that introduction, Presiding Officer Aprajita. So video games for me are a little special. I remember in 11th grade, I made some of my closest friends playing video games, playing PUBG especially. And I wanted to reiterate one of Aprajita's points, which was that if you get good at a game, then it becomes this source of pride for you, which is one of the 3 pillars of why people play video games. It's mainly 3 reasons: for competency, for autonomy, and for to be relatable. When it comes to competency, if you get good at a game, let's say it's Valorant, let's say it's PUBG, it's not easy to get good at them. You have to put in quite a number of hours to actually become skilled at it. But when you get skilled at it, you get the rank, you get the approval of all your friends who play the game. So with that said, I'll just share my screen because I made a really nice presentation for this. All right, can you see it? Thumbs up if you can see it.
Yeah, we can see it.
All right. Is it in full screen for all of you?
No, we can see.
No, we happen to see your script as well.
Okay. I don't know why it was showing the full screen. In any case. Right. So, who remembers their first video game? Raise your hand. Okay, Aprajita and Lavanya remember. So, Aprajita, what was it?
It was snakes.
Nice. Lavanya?
Now I'm thinking it could have been snakes, but proper video games, it was Road Rash. My uncle used to play and then I used to beg to play along.
Road Rash was a very nice game. Even I was addicted to it for some time. Shruti, what about you?
Cooking fever.
Cooking Fever. Interesting. Personally, I haven't heard of it, but I can already guess what goes on in it. Actually, would you like to tell us? Give us like a short description of it.
It's like a restaurant maintained by me, and there are customers coming and going. You have to prepare food for them, and there's certain time limit and all. And it was pretty stressful also.
Oh, it gets
Oh.
very hectic. I remember playing.
Yeah.
There was a phase, whole cooking fever phase.
Right. Interesting. Whenever I talk about video games to people, they always give me like a wide variety of video games because I typically only play shooter games or shooter games that you can play in a multiplayer aspect. So it's always nice to hear these games I haven't heard of where people have been enjoying them. And especially developing games in my free time, always looking at these new games of how they helped people or how they entertained people gives me ideas for the games that I build. So when it comes to me, my first video game, I remember playing it on the PS2. I don't know if I played games before that, but I remember our parents got me and my brother a PS2, and they got this Sega CD. It was this blue CD with just Sega written on it, no graphics whatsoever. We would put it into the PS2, and the PS2s, they were different from everything else. They didn't have a slide-in CD slot. You had to physically press a button, it would flip open, put the CD in, and then press the button to start it to spin. And then it gave us this catalog of games. And out of the 10 or so games that were there was always this one game where it was 2-player. Me and my brother would both be robbers, and there'd be these policemen trying to catch us as we went and collected coins around the entire city. So I remember every day after school, or almost every day after school, me and my brother used to sit down and play that cops and robbers game. To this day, I have no idea what the actual name of the game is. I just remember having a lot of fun on it. So with that said, I'm going to introduce you now to the structure of the meeting, which is divided up into 4 sections. The prepared speeches, where speakers will get to come and give the speeches which they've prepared over a period of time. Table topics, where your table topic master will give you a topic and you will have to speak on it impromptu. People can volunteer for this, or your table topic master will ask you to speak. The listener segment, this is the most interesting segment, where if you've been paying attention to the rest of the meeting, you'll do well in the listener segment. Essentially, your listener will be listening very closely to anything interesting going on in the meeting, and then ask you questions about the meeting in general. More on that a little bit later. And then finally, we have the evaluation section, where your evaluators will, for each speech, we have an evaluator. And then for the entire meeting as a whole, we have a general evaluator. And these people will explain their roles in detail in a short second. I will stop sharing my screen with that said. So I would like to introduce the general evaluator for today to explain his role in the meeting. He's a final year engineering student and a freelance digital marketer, a path breaker, a Triple Crown winner, an IPP of SDM CET Toastmasters Club. Toastmaster Saurabh, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vishal, for that wonderful introduction. How many of you here have played Clash of Clans? Can you raise your hands? Okay, I see a lot of boys are excited playing this Clash of Clans games. How many of you remember the lady which comes in the beginning of the game and she guides you throughout your clan? Can you remember her? Exactly. So the role that lady played in that game is the role of general evaluator in Toastmasters meeting. I, as a general evaluator, will thoroughly look throughout this meeting and come out with a report which will be stating the good usages or some good usages of this platform, some not so good usages of platform. To do this, I have some troops called as tag team. Tag team stands for timer, counter, and grammar for the benefits of the guest. Today's timer is someone who is an extrovert because he feels that he loves making new connections. He was born and brought up in Chikmagaluru. He is a nature lover, an offbeat traveler, and is passionate about acting and literature. And his name is something which I want the purpose of my life, to be Nishchint. Toastmaster Nishchint, can you please introduce your role?
Thank you for the wonderful introduction, G. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. One of the skills we learn in Toastmaster is how to conduct a program or deliver a speech within a strict time limit. As a timer, I am responsible for keeping track on the time. For prepared speeches, with a time of 5 to 7 minutes, the green light comes on at 5 minutes, the yellow light comes on at 6 minutes, and the red light comes on at 7 minutes. The speaker has 30 seconds to wrap his or her speech. The table topic responses are of 1 to 2 minutes. The green light comes on at 1 minute. The yellow light comes on 1.5 minutes, 1 minute 30 seconds. And red light at 2 minutes. Here also the speaker will get grace of 30 seconds to wrap his or her table topics, the speech. And the final segment, speech evaluation segment. Here the evaluator will get 2 to 3 minutes. The green light comes on at 2 minutes and the yellow at 2 minutes 30 seconds and the red card at 3 minutes. I'll be back on the stage by the end of the meeting to present my report. And one thing, kindly pin my screen to keep an eye on cue cards. All the best, guys. Over to you, G.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Nishant. Our art counter for today is an aeronautical student. She is very passionate about cooking, gardening, and listening to audiobooks. And a huge shout out to her father for naming her, which took me around a minute or so to pronounce it correctly. The art counter for today is Toastmaster Evangeline. Toastmaster Evangeline, the virtual stage is all yours.
Thank you for the wonderful introduction, GE. Good morning, everyone. I will be our counter for today's meeting. As our counter, my role is to look for CRPFs, where C stands for crutch words like R stands for repetitive words like this means, I, and P stands for unwanted pauses like this. F stands for filler words like but, so, like. These are the things I will be looking for. At the end of the meeting, I will be back with my report. Back to GE. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Evangeline. A grammarian for today is someone who usually spends her time binge watching or reading a book. She was an athlete in her school, so she loves outdoor games more than video games. She loves long drive and nature drives her crazy. Today's grammarian is Toastmaster Deepika. Toastmaster Deepika, the stage is all yours.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Grammar is the structure and sentence of a language. The rules of grammar help us decide which words to put in a sentence and how to form the sentence. I, Deepika, and I am the grammarian of today's meeting. And I will say the quote that I always use: half a good philosophy is good grammar. Every Toastmaster aims the use of proper vocabulary and pronunciation. As the grammarian, I will be noting down 3 things: the good quality of usage of words in a sentence, the inaccurate usage of grammar in a sentence, and the usage of the word of the day and the phrase of the day. So the word of the day is relish, and it means to have a great enjoyment in doing something. An example is, she swiggied a mouthful of wine with relish. The phrase of the day is like a dog with a bone. It means to not stop until you have finished dealing with something. An example is, he is like a dog with a bone when it comes to getting things done. And I encourage everyone to try and incorporate the word of the day and the phrase of the day as many times as possible. Also, for the other members to give a thumbs up when they hear someone using the word of the day or the phrase of the day. And I will be presenting my report at the end of the meeting when called upon by the general evaluator. Thank you. Over to you, general evaluator.
Thank you so much, Deepika. Attending MVJCE Toastmasters Club meeting is a relish moment for me. I started using this word of the day, and I suggest you all to use it so that the grammarian comes with a very huge report today. That's all for the initial introduction of my role as general evaluator. My main part of the role is towards the end of this meeting. I'll come back at that time with my report and with my team. Till then, back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you for that, general evaluator. Whenever I get to be Toastmaster of the day, I relish the opportunity because I get to present something that I'm interested in, which is the same case for the speakers today, where they also get to relish this opportunity to present something that they're interested about. So with that said, we're now going to go into the prepared speeches section. So for that, each speaker gets an evaluator. And I would like to call evaluator 1 to read out the speech objectives and the pathway for speaker 1.
Good morning, everyone, especially to my target speaker, Toastmaster Rachna. Rachna will be attempting her L1 P1 icebreaker speech. The time limit for this speech is 4 to 6 minutes. The purpose of this project is to introduce yourself to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. Overview is write and deliver a speech about any topic to introduce yourself to the club. With that being said, all the best for your speech, Rachna. I'm looking forward.
Thank you. Thank you, Evaluator 1. Your first speaker loves coffee and is obsessed with vampires, mainly Damon Salvatore from The Vampire Diaries. She loves to experiment and try new dishes and hopes to be able to deliver good speeches. Toastmaster Rachna, a journey of 19 years. A journey of 19 years, Toastmaster Rachna.
Am I audible? Okay, so you can speak well if your tongue delivers the message of your heart. So good morning, everyone. I am Rachna, a student of first year MVJCE. Now, till 10th, okay, I did my schooling from Rand International School, Kundanahalli. So till 10th grade, I was no exception. I was an ordinary talkative girl who just, who just used to eat, sleep, repeat. That's it, all day, all night, nothing new. So as my boards were approaching, my mom was pretty sure that I will screw this up. And I did. That's what I did. I screwed up my 10th. And after that, so when my results came, me and my mom packed our bags and we just flew away. Not knowing where we were going, I asked her, where are we going? Where are you taking me? She's like, so we're going to go and see a hostel, which me and your dad told you about. So a hostel far away from Bangalore. Outside Mangalore, like in the outskirts of Mangalore, in a small town known as Mudbidri. So I saw my college and I was like, oh my God. I looked at my mom and then she's like, yes, you're joining here. So guess what? Hostel. Well, what do you know? A new journey, new me, all I was excited. But I was scared, a girl who never used, who could never cross a road without one of her parents holding her hand, was supposed to live alone for 2 years, for the next 2 years. I was really scared. But then I thought, let me give it a shot. So stepping out of my comfort zone, my cotton candy, whatever, I said, let me go. So I went to the hostel. Hostel was different from school. As we know, school is a building with 4 walls within tomorrow inside. And hostel was different. Initially, it was really hard because it was not like any ordinary hostel. It was very different. It was very strict. No phones were allowed. Going out of the campus was prohibited. No novels were allowed. No makeup, nothing. It was just a typical neat aspirant life hostel. And I thought, I thought I would give up. But then I thought of my parents, I don't want them again, putting their expectations down again and again. So let me just be. But it might all sound depressing, the strict and everything, but trust me, those 2 years were also the best years of my life that I will carry forward with me forever. So I did everything. There were CCTV cameras all over my college, everywhere, outside my room, outside the campus, in the corridors, in the college, everywhere. It was filled with CCTV cameras. But I did it all, from sleeping during the study hours to troubling the wardens to bunking classes. I did whatever I could do because I am an extrovert and I love doing all these things. Everything was unicorns and rainbows until I got into a predicament. I was coming down with something in the beginning of, in the ending of 12th, and I didn't know what it was, but it was serious. And I didn't want to disturb my parents, so I was alone for the most of the days. My health was getting low, and then I was feeling feverish, and I was not in my proper mental state. But I also realized when I was alone, as I said, I was alone. I also realized my inner strength, my inner capabilities. And I thought, let me handle this. I can do it. And when I came out of it, it changed me. I was a different person. Now, what I did lose in this process was time. I lost a lot of time. When I lost a lot of time, so I couldn't study again for my boards. I was too weak to study for my boards, and then the only reason I was sent to hostel was to not repeat my 10th, and that exactly happened. I screwed up my boards again, as usual. It was like history getting repeated. My mom was devastated. She's like, I don't know what to say. So did I. I thought I'm just gonna I'm just gonna give up and then I can't do it anymore. But then my mom, again, she forced me to join engineering. She's like, just do it. I don't know what you're gonna do, just do engineering. How, when, why, I don't know. Just do it. So the only way to get started is to quit talking and start doing, right? So I thought whatever my life has been till now, it's all over. Now like the last session was all about every end has a new beginning. So I thought, let me just do this. Let this be a new beginning. So now I will make the most of it. And that exactly brings me here to Toastmasters to explore and know myself more and know my capabilities more. So there's no end to, so this is my story. And I'd like to conclude by a few words of wisdom that I strongly believe in. That is, it goes like, life is a journey between two letters of the alphabet, B and D, where B stands for birth and D stands for death. And between these two letters, B and D, is a letter C, and that C stands for choice. We can all learn how to choose, not to prove, but to improve. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rachna. I really loved your speech and about how your perseverance and how you're choosing to grow and choosing to develop your skills. It was really nice to hear. I hope everyone else also enjoyed the speech as much as I did. With that said, we'll be moving on to the next speaker. And for that, I would like to call upon the second evaluator to read out the speech objectives and the pathway for speaker 2.
Good morning once again. Speaker 2 is attempting level 1 P1, level 1 P2. And the purpose of this project for the member is to present a speech, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to the second part of this speech, which is L1 P22. Timer, please note the time limit for this speech is 5 to 7 minutes. All the best, Speaker 2. Over to you.
Thank you, Evaluator 2. Speaker 2 is a final year aeronautical student juggling, Speaker 2 is a first year aerospace engineering student who loves to play video games but stopped playing, but then started to play badminton and started doing yoga. Toastmaster Aditya, we can do yoga. We can do yoga, Toastmaster Aditya.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Screen is visible, right? My audio, video, everything.
Yes.
Just this. Fine. Timer, you can start your time. Good morning to everyone, fellow Toastmasters and guests. So I'm going to speak on the topic yoga. Human beings are made up of more of 3 elements that are mind, body, and soul. So similarly, in order to satisfy this, we need knowledge, health, and inner peace. So as we know, health is a physical need, and the mind, mind is the psychological need. Knowledge is a psychological need. Whereas when talking about the inner peace, it's a spiritual practice or a spiritual need. So yoga is something which feeds into our soul, and it is a spiritual practice which relieves from many elements physically. Moreover, an exercise can strengthen our body, sharpen our intellectuals and our emotion. Now, I would like to share my experience. How did I begin my yoga? So yoga, I completed my 12th board examination where lockdown was commenced. Due to lockdown, I started to suffer from some anxiety and I didn't know what to do. I had a little bit of psychological issues where I was almost into depression, where and sometimes I used to procrastinate with my phone and always lay on the bed and didn't know what to do. So and I was very allergic to dust, where every morning I used to sneeze, which was a big alarm to the whole neighborhood. So I wanted to overcome this. So I told this to my mother, my problems, what I'm going through. So my mother suggested me the only way to come over this is yoga. So my mother, after she her colleague introduced her yoga guru. So my mother introduced me to yoga guru. She was a potential. She was always with me, and she was always a potential booster. So she was a great guru and she helped me throughout the journey. So on my first day of doing yoga, it was I was awesome. Did what everything my yoga guru instructed. And by the next day, yes, you guessed it right. I was full tired, pain, and everything. But I thought of skipping the yoga classes, but no, I didn't lose my hope. I kept on going ahead. So after doing and I did exactly what I went for the second day, and I continued my yoga classes through a month. It was a slow process, and I didn't want to give up. So as a beginner, my guru started my yoga practice with simple postures. So simple postures like Surya Namaskara, which is sun salutation. So this is 12 postures of Surya Namaskara. So the benefits were that it strengthens your it strengthens your bone flexibility and corrects your back postures. Coming to next asanas, the next asanas were Naukasana, which is a boat posture. So it strengthen your abdominal muscles, strengthen your arms, thighs, and shoulders. It improves liver, pancreas, and kidney functions also. Coming to next is the Dhanurasana, which is the bow posture, which helps effective in the weight loss management. Coming next is the Bhujangasana, which is a cobra pose, very helpful. It had many benefits where which corrects our back postures and stretches our chest and lungs. Doing these asanas for 3 rounds and holding this each postures for 40 seconds gives you an extensively benefits. Doing these asanas for over a month, I found a great results in myself. I had become more disciplined, patient, focused. I had a better clarity. I had a better clarity where my negative, I put away my negative thoughts, and I was able to control my psychological also. I was able to make better decisions, and I was more calmer also. And sleeping on time, wake up on time, and I was developing a good, healthy and lifestyle. So every day makes me very happy, rejuvenate. I feel fresh every time. It helped me to sharpen my mind and improve my cognitive abilities. And if I can do, you can also do yoga. So yoga has numerous benefits. So if you look closely, yoga will give you a relief when like if you practice regularly. In addition, now if you practice several asanas and postures, it strengthens our body, it feelings and well-being of healthiness. We can achieve a higher concentration through yoga and also learn to steady our emotions. Yoga is not only an exercise, it's just where you twist and turn and stretch. It is also or in a complex way, but it's actually a superficial aspect of profound science of unfolding the infinite potential of human beings, human mind and soul. It leads to a healthy and development of the mind. Through the knowledge of yoga and practice of yoga, it is spreading widespread, which is a wonderful thing. Many yoga goes far away from the mats, where most of the countries which do not know our traditions, language, and our culture, they connect to us through yoga. Everyone must practice yoga in order to keep their health maintained and also benefit from it. It's a secret for living a healthy and longer life without using any artificial means of medicine or surgery. So I would like to conclude my speech by saying that if you wanted to live a healthier life, healthier and longer life, the yoga is the best way. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aditya. I really enjoyed your speech, especially about the parts where you talk about how your mother give you the advice. It's not always that we relish the advice that our mother gives us, but if we follow it like a dog with a bone, then it always turns out good for us. Now, with that said, we'll be moving on to the next speaker. And for that, I would like to call upon Evaluator 3 to read out the speech objectives and the pathway for Speaker 3.
Once again, good morning, fellow Toastmasters. I'm Dharani, evaluator for today. My target speaker is Toastmaster Autism. He is going to attempt his level 1 project 3 in dynamic leadership pathway. The purpose of this project is for the member to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-researched speech on any topic. All the best, Autism, for your speech. Over to you, TMOD.
Speaker 3 is a final year aeronautical student, juggling philosophy, history, projects, and Netflix. Toastmaster Athasam, Wonders of 7. Wonders of 7, Toastmaster Athasam. Toastmaster Athasam. Is he in the meeting? I don't think he's in the meeting.
Yeah, he's there in the meeting. I think it will be better for all of us to turn on off our cameras because he might have had bandwidth issues.
Yeah, am I audible?
All right. Yes, yes, you
sorry,
are.
there's a bandwidth issue at my end. Can I share? Like, I'm not able to share my screen also.
I don't think you're co-host.
Yeah, please make me the host.
1 second.
Divya, can you make me the host? Yeah. Is my screen visible?
Not. Yes, it's visible.
Yes.
1 second. Yeah, so timer, you can start. Good morning, everyone. As I sat down to find a topic to research on for this speech, I was lost for topics. And after 7 minutes of being a dog with a bone, of thinking what topic to speak on, I looked up at my calendar and a question popped up in my head. Why is week a thing? Like, why 7 days makes up 1 week? We know why 365 days 1 year, and how does 1 day come into existence because of the rotation and revolution of Earth. But why 7 days makes up a week? And then I realized that 7 pops up an awful lot across the globe. There are 7 heavens, 7 deadly sins, 7 days of creation, and many other 7s. So here I am, having done my research and about to tell you the story of 7. To start off with, 7 is an odd choice, not just because it's not even, but also because it's prime, and you cannot divide 365 into 7 parts. And yet, some historians suggest that the idea of 7 days in a week is the oldest, still active idea on human beings. Seems like week is a strong idea. Having said that, the origin of 7 is where most of our origin stories begin, with the ancient peoples. And one of the key figure in this story would be the moon. You see, there are about 12 lunar cycles in a month. And in each cycle, ancient people saw that moon wandered across 12 different constellations that gave rise to zodiacs. And in each of these cycles, along with moon, there were few other constants. There were Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. And if you add the brightest and biggest wanderer of them all, Sun, you get 7 of them. Each of these represented a god to them. 7 wanderers, 7 guards, 7 days. You see where this is going? Except things are not quite in order yet. So in 3rd century BC, Greek astrologers decided to arrange these 7 planets, 7 wanderers, in terms of the time that they take to go around the night sky or the sky. And then they decided that each of them would be in charge of just 1 hour at a time. So Saturn would rule for the 1st hour, Jupiter for the 2nd, Mars for the 3rd, and so on. But since there are only 24 hours, the cycle would spill onto the next day, and so on. And after 7 days, the cycle would repeat itself. And each day is now named after one of those gods. So you have Saturn day, you have Sun day, you have Moon day, you have Mars day, you have Mercury day. Hold up. That really sounded nice for a bit, but then Mars day and Mercury doesn't really sound as Tuesday and Wednesday. Unless you are from those Vikings or the Germanic tribes or the Anglo-Saxons. You see, when Rome fell, these local tribes adopted this 7-day chart and replaced some of them with their own god. So Thursday is named after Thor, and not that Thor, this Thor. So Thursday is named after Thor, and Friday is named after his mother Frigga. So that solves it, right? That gives the origin of 7 days, right? But stay right where you are, because the story of 7 is much more to be. There are much more things to be discovered. You see, remember I told you Moon played an important part in the story of 7. It so happened that conveniently, but coincidentally, 1 lunar cycle is equal to 1 menstrual cycle of a female human being. And that also shared a root word. The word month and menses stems a root word of Latin, which means to measure, as in to measure the phases of the moon. The 4 quarters of 1 lunar cycle is separated by approximately 7 days. And there are about 2 sevens in between 1 full moon and a new moon, that is 14. And there are, in 1 complete lunar cycle, it takes approximately 28 days. And if you add 1, 2, 4, 7, and 14, you get 28. This makes 28 a perfect number. What is a perfect number? Perfect number is where the factors add up to the number itself. And Greeks only knew about 4 of them: 6, 28, 496, and 828. These were the perfect numbers. Not to be confused with perfect letters, which is there is only one U. Okay, that joke is still in working, but hold up, talking about maths. The story of 7 traces its root back to the initial math, the Sumerian maths, who used the decimal numbers, who used the number system of base 60. We use a number system of base 10, as in, for example, a number 2021 would be written as 2 thousands, 0 hundreds, 2 tens, and 1 ones. But a number, let's say 72, in a base 60 system would be written as 160 and 12 ones. So 1 into 60, 60, plus 12, 72. What about fractions? 1/2 is written as 0 ones and 5 1/10 in our system. But for them, 1/2 would be 0 ones and 30 1/60. 1/3 would be 0 ones and 20 1/60, and so on, until they reaches the 7th number. You see, for them, 7 is the first number whose fraction is infinite. And when an astrologer looked up at the night sky, they saw 7 major stars in Ursa Major and constellation like Orion. And then they associated it with the 7 wanderers that I have spoken about. And when they saw all of this, they saw it as a sign that there is something special about 7. Now, of course, we know that they're wrong. There are in fact 8 planets. Don't argue me about Pluto right now. I have to wrap this speech up. And yes, after making all these things in one place, you see where the concept of 7 comes from. Why is 7 so important and divine across all cultures? Even today, 7 is considered as a lucky number, and you see why. But till the time we figured all of this out, the 7-day system was so common that no one bothered questioning it. or even changing it. So now you know about all of this story of 7. So what are you going to do with this knowledge? Remove Mondays. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster.
I completely agree with Toastmaster. It is some stance on removing Mondays. I'd much rather tomorrow be a Tuesday than a Monday, and then really relish the two weekends even more, because then they would take up a greater percentage of the week. But anyway, with that said, we'll be moving on back to my presentation. And this time it is in full screen. So we're going to talk about our treasurer's favorite topic. Any guesses? You can unmute and say as to what our treasurer's favorite topic is.
Money.
Yeah, we're going to talk about money as soon as the PPT changes. Just how big is the video game industry? Does anyone want to take a guess or try to guess how big the video game industry is? Just a rough estimate in the year 2020. Okay, what about the movie industry? Some of you may know, may not know, or the music industry even. Just a random estimate about how big it is. No one? I'm seeing a lot of no's with the head. All right, I'll give you, okay, we'll go to the next slide then. $182 billion. So there was a projection done on how much the video game industry would grow over the next, or up till 2027. And seeing this number, 182 billion, now would anyone like to guess what it would be in the year 2027? Just a random guess.
Double of this.
Double of this? Okay, double of this would be
364.
360. That's actually very close. It's very close. It's about 360 billion. So I'd say that's correct. It's going to double by the year 2027. And when the pandemic came around, both the movie and music industry took a hit, but the video game industry grew exponentially because people are in their homes even more. And typically people will play games in their homes. They won't, nowadays people don't go out to arcades as much. They play it on their phones, they play it on their computers, they play it on their laptops. And which is why the video game industry is such a lucrative industry. And another interesting fact about the video game industry, things used to build video games, these game engines, aren't just used for video games. They're actually used for movies and music too. They're used for people at SpaceX use game engines. People at most space companies also use game engines because their simulations are so good, so real life, that they can simulate real life events pretty accurately. Video game engines can be used for pretty much anything. They're used in architecture, believe it or not. For example, if you're going to buy a new house and then a friend of mine showed me this website where you could go see this $8 million house, like you could walk around in it. That was made in a game engine and people just took pictures of it and then put it on the internet. And then now you can walk around in it without actually being there. So video games, in a way, transport you into a new reality. Just like how the speakers in our next segment have to transport us into their reality, we're going to introduce the table topic segment. And I will stop sharing for a second. Right. So the next section is the table topic section. But okay, right. Before we get to the table topic session, very important thing. We're going to vote on the best speaker. So your SAA will drop a link in the chat. And now you can go vote on your favorite speaker. So out of the 3 speeches, whichever one was your favorite, go to the link, vote for them. We'll announce, your SAA will announce who is the best speaker at the end of the meeting. All right. With that said, we'll be moving on to the table topic section, which is the second part of the 4 parts in our meeting. And your table topic master, she's a foodie who loves to sleep and is always ready to take up new challenges and explore new things. Video games, she loves playing are Pac-Man and Super Mario. So I would like to invite table topics master, Toastmaster Divya, to conduct a session.
Thank you, Vishal, for the warm introduction. We're into the interesting part of this Toastmaster meeting. That's table topic session. And I'm your table topic master for today's meeting. So to brief out with all the guests, I want to tell what is table topics. Table topic session, here you'll be given a topic on the spot and you have to speak for 2 minutes. So anyone can take up the chance and speak on it. It's going to be really interesting. And reiterating the timings, you can 1 minute green card will be raised up, 1 minute 30 seconds the yellow card, and 2 minutes the red card, and you'll have 30 seconds buffer time. So I request all of you to volunteer and take up the table topics. Firstly, let's start with one of our members. Anyone who wants to take it up? I see Kriti raising her hand. Yeah. Okay, I'll just share the screen for the table topics. Just a second. I'm not able to hear Kriti.
Yeah, your voice is very low.
I said, be kind to me. I never volunteer for table talk.
Sure. I'll give you an easy topic on. Here's the topic for you.
Okay, does it have to be does it have to be a board game? Sorry, does it have to be a video game?
No, anything.
Favorite game, that a lot of games come to my mind, but the first thing that I got, and the reason I asked if it has to be a video game, is hopscotch. I'm sure all of you have played it. It's called different things in different language, but essentially just throwing a stone and stepping on numbers, right? That was a game we played with our cousins, mostly when we went to the native. So that game has a lot of sweet memories attached to it, which if I go into will not get over in 2 minutes. So I will skip to the next game. Uno, I can associate it with my friends and with sleepovers with a lot of laughter. That is one game that the person playing it can make up their own rules and it'll make sense. It just makes sense. Every rule, like you will forget everything that you learned before that. So Uno, hopscotch, and of course, coming to video games, my first ever game was Snakes. It was oddly satisfying for some reason. The game, the keypad thing. Yeah, that's 3 games that I love. And I never played video games, by the way. I'm sorry to whoever will be hurt by this. I tried Among Us once. It was terrible. And then, yeah, that's it. Thank you.
That was a good try for the first time. And you ended up giving 3 examples. That was really good. So I see Gramir and Deepika raising a hand. Here's your topic. Which one do you prefer, multiplayer or a solo game?
Okay. Can I start?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not a video game fan and all. I don't play video games. So usually I prefer playing outdoors. Outdoors means multiplayer games. Usually something that is associated with the ball because that makes it much fun and easier. I used to play volleyball, basketball, and all those things. And also since the pandemic, I started playing a few of the video games, that is Among Us, as Kriti said. And it was so terrible to find someone to play with. Like, even though everyone is playing that, it was difficult to find a group and a team and the room, and people used to randomly just show up and then just go away in a few seconds, and it was terrible. And I eventually stopped playing the game. I pity people who still play the game. And also I tried playing GTA for a while, and that I did play it solo, and then eventually got bored of it. I don't know why video games bored me a lot than playing the actual outdoor games. So yeah, I preferred multiplayer games than playing solo games.
I totally relate to you. Like, even I heard of Among Us, but somehow I didn't get interest to play that, and I didn't end up playing. Next, we have Dharni. Here's your topic, Dharni. First encounter with any video game. When did you first come?
Okay. So once again, good morning, fellow Toastmasters. When I was I think in 8th standard, my father got a first mobile, which is a button phone. In that, I had a snake gaming, and that Angry Bird, where we need to shoot the balls, number of balls will be shooted, that many points will be getting for us. So my first video game was the snake, and alternatively the Angry Bird. I used to play a lot. Like, I was so much addicted to that mobile, and I was thinking that mobile was for me, and he bought for my sake, and I was using that mobile a lot and lot. Only the snake. I used to play snake where that whole screen will occupy only the snake thing. Yes, that was making really a funny thing for me. Like, I used to never I used to never fail without making that whole screen as a snake thing. Yes, I remember that one. Yes, thank you so much. Over to you, TTM.
That was a great speech, Dharni. Next, we have Harsh. Here's your topic, Harsh. Streaming will replace consoles, yes or no?
What do you mean by consoles here? In what context are you referring consoles to it?
Buttons thing, the PS5 or the.
Okay. I don't think streaming will replace consoles as such, because they somehow go hand in hand. So there are people who stream on your computer because they are getting powerful day by day. There are also people who stream on consoles such as your PS5 and Xbox. So it doesn't matter, or it doesn't really make a difference that streaming will overpower the console industry or the other way around, because they both go hand in hand, because without the one there is no other, and without the other there is no one. So in and all, streaming will not replace the console industry, but in turn power the console industry to go and reach further heights along with the streaming industry as well, because the streaming industry is not so popular in India as of now, as of today, if we speak in terms of census compared to the other countries. It is growing eventually with the evaluation of esports and everything. So yes, as you said, streaming will not replace the consoles industry or will not hamper each other in any way, but will go hand in hand in upcoming times.
Nice try, Harsh. Anyone next? Should I pick?
I'll go next. Francis.
Yeah, Francis. There's your topic. The game you spent most of your time on.
All right. So I used to play a lot of games when I was in school, like Road Rash, Heretic, mostly the demo versions, because we didn't have the actual full versions in school. But the game I played most is, I think nowadays I just play a little bit of these shooting games. I'm not really familiar with the names. I think it's Counter-Strike or something like this, where there are a lot of people who play. It's like a group game. So I usually play with my juniors. They live close by to my house, so just join them with the game. And these guys have a group, so we play against each other or we play against other groups. It's really fun. So that's nice. And what else? Yeah, I love shooting games. So mostly just shooting games I play. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Francis. That was a good try. You told about the game which you spent. Next, we have Toastmaster Saurav. This your table topic. Does violent games cause behavior problems?
There are two things that come in my mind when I see this topic: does violent games cause some mental behavior or not? As there are two different perspectives. As they say, every coin has two faces. It's just like that. Not all fingers are same. It is completely dependent on one's personality or one's mindset, how he takes it a game. If you are just taking it as a game, then it is just a game. Like in between, I saw that there was a game trending called as a shark or black shark or these kind of game, which was asking people to do some tasks which are harmful for them. At that time, it's one mentality or it's one's intelligence which comes in the matter, that whether he should actually do it or he shouldn't do it, because that might be causing something to it. I really feel that a lot of people in India are like knowledgeable enough that they know what is difference between a game and implying it into life. But there are some people who stays in some part of the country where they don't have that kind of knowledge. They just have this free internet which they do and just go to download any games. I really feel that there needs to be a kind of knowledge or a proper training, or not a training, but a teaching should be given to them, that this is just a game and they should just restrict themselves and they should just play it as a game and not as a something which is connected to life. So I feel that majority of people, it will not affect their behavior, but for some point it might. Like I'm getting addictions. Like when PUBG was initially released, I was playing it throughout like night, like till 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. But then after I realized that sleep is more important than PUBG, because if I sleep, then only I can play PUBG next day. That's the thing. So we need to understand it by ourselves. That's my take on this topic. Back to you, Titi.
That was really great. And even I have seen few issues like after the PUBG was banned, there were few people who didn't eat for a day, 17 hours or something like that. So that was, it's all about an individual. I saw Rachna was raising her hand. Rachna, are you ready to take up the topic?
Yeah, I can try. I'll try.
Yes. There's a topic, first game that you remember playing.
Oh, the first game I remember playing is, we had this phone which was pink in color, and then there were rings all over. You had to put the rings in a particular stick or something like that. It was like you had two buttons, and you had to keep pressing the buttons unless the rings go all over the stick. So that was, I think, my first game which I played, and I used to play that a lot when I was like 5, 6. I remember. And then I used to play that, and then this again this after that, which I don't usually play games, be it video or outdoor. I'm not addicted to any kind of games, but I played Temple Run and Subway Surfers for a while when I was like a typical teen. So I remember only playing these two games, and then I played what do you say, the cooking games where you had to decorate the ice and everything, all kiddish games. That's the only thing I remember playing, and I enjoy playing it, and that's all. I don't usually play games. That's not my thing. Okay, thank you.
That was really nice, Rachna. Next, Shruti, are you ready to take the topic? Yeah. So this is your topic, your favorite game genre.
I don't usually play games, but I like racing games mostly. I used to play with my guy friends when I was 6, 7. I used to hang out with a lot of guys. So they taught me to play all these racing games, bike races and car races. And as Deepika already told, when I used to play GTA with one of my guy friend, he taught me how to play Vice City and all. And those software were in my old laptop also. And yeah, I like all this racing genre. So that is what my take on this topic.
Nice, Shruti. Next, Vishal, can you take up the next topic?
Sure.
So, what will your video game look like?
Okay, now I know why you asked me to take this one up. Ah,
This is
so
not gonna end anytime soon.
right. I'll be honest, when it comes to making a game, I was doing a course outside of college for game development, and our final project was make a game. So even when trying to come up with that topic, I was very confused as to what game I wanted to make. When you look at companies that have done games well, they didn't make games that they wanted to make. They made games people wanted to play. Let's take Counter-Strike, for example. I'll explain the game very simply. 5 people on one side, 5 people on the other side. They have an objective and they play the game. That's pretty much Counter-Strike. It may sound simple, but the reason people are still playing it 14 years after, or not 14 years, CSGO was released in 2012. So that's 9 years after the release, is because people get so much enjoyment, get so much fulfillment out of playing the game that every day they'll play the game. They'll grind the game for hours on end just to get good at it, just to beat their friends. And then that's how they bond. I remember when our game development team first started meeting each other, we bonded by playing video games, not by actually doing any work. And then after that, we did some work. So when I want to make games, I want to make my game, whatever it will look like on the outside. When people play it, they'll have a good time with their friends. When people play it, they'll get a sense of fulfillment out of it. When people play it, they'll forget about their problems for a period of time and then enjoy that period of time for what it brings to them. So that's what my game will look like.
You seem to have a great vision for your game. Over for the next topic. Anyone now? Okay, let me pick up one. Dikshita, do you want to take up our guest? I don't see her. Dikshita, you want to take up?
Yes.
So here's your topic. Super Mario or Pac-Man? Which one do you pick? Is there? I don't think she's there.
She's in the
Anyone
meeting.
Yeah. Anyone else who wants to take up?
We weren't able to hear.
Yeah. Now the topic is released. Anyone else who wants to take up? Evangeline, you want to try?
Yeah, sure. But I did not play both of the games. So I can't say anything about it. But I'll go with Pac-Man because I find it some of my friends playing it. Like it will go like they're eating something. I knew this much only about this game. So I'll go with that. That's it.
Okay. Does anyone else who wants to take up the same topic?
I can go again. It's okay.
Yeah, you can go.
So, Pac-Man or Super Mario? I think Pac-Man is like a very fast-paced game where you have to. It starts out slow, but as you reach more levels, it becomes faster and faster. Which I think I can go up to a certain level, but after that, it's just like it gets crazy. But I think Super Mario is nice because it's more like if anyone has played this game called, I forget the game, but it's basically a sword fighting game where you have to keep crossing levels. It's like Super Mario. I think it's Prince of Persia. So in Prince of Persia, it's just you have to keep sword fighting and killing people and going to the next level. So it's the same like Super Mario. You try to get points and go to the next level and it gets more challenging. So I relate to more like these games, which are like the shooting games. So I would choose Super Mario. Thank you.
That was great, Toastmaster Francis. That's all from my side. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Vishal.
Thank you, Table Topics Master Divya. I really enjoyed the table topics. Every one of those table topics was related to the theme, which I really love. With that said, we'll be moving on to the next segment, which is the listener segment, who I forgot to introduce at the beginning of the meeting, which I'm so sorry for, Lavanya. But in any case, okay, your listener for the day, she loves to read and is currently reading The Upside Down King by Sudhamurthy in hopes of jumping back on the binge reading wagon. With that said, I'd like to introduce your listener for the day, Toastmaster Lavanya. You have the stage.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day, Vishal. Hello, everybody. I hope all of you prepared for today's listener session. It's comparatively easy. It's a lot of video games and yoga poses. So if you're ready, we can begin. The link is in the chat. Please join the room quickly so we can use the buzzer and get through this round smoothly.
Rakshanda isn't here to complain about.
Okay, we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 members join. If you all can quickly join, we have 18 people. Anybody, even guests are welcome to play. Please go ahead and click on the link and join. We'll begin shortly.
Insert jazz music.
I'm sorry?
Insert jazz music.
Okay, we have 14 people. That's a good number. Anybody who hasn't joined, please join quickly. Let's begin. This is how the buzzer works. On your screen, now the buzzer looks locked. Don't buzz now. This is a trial. I will be doing this one. Deepika, which question are you trying to answer, Deepika? So this is the buzzer. Once I unlock the buzzer, this is what it's going to look like. I will keep the buzzer locked when I'm telling you the question or somebody else is answering. I will unlock it the moment I finish the question. Whoever buzzes first, I can see the name here. You get to go ahead and buzzer. Okay. Let's begin. The first question. What was the first video game that Toastmaster Aparajita played? Vishal, go for it.
Need for Speed.
No.
She's
I will unlock the buzzer. Somebody else can go ahead. Oh, okay, wait. There's Shruti who's buzzed second.
Thanks.
Yes. Shruti gets a point. Moving on to the second question. To which character in which game did Toastmaster Saurabh compare the role of a general evaluator to? Toastmaster Shruti.
The instructor in Clash of Clans.
You're right. That's 2 points for Toastmaster Shruti. And third question. This is a rapid fire question. All these easy ones are going to be rapid fire. I will be counting to 5 seconds once I've called out your name and you have to finish it by then. Okay. Quickly tell me the expanded form of CRPF. Nishchint, go. 1, 2. Nishchint. Nishchint.
Yeah, I'm on mute. Sorry.
Okay, go.
Crunch.
1. Two.
What is that?
3.
PF, I don't know.
4.
Sorry.
Okay, the chance goes from Nishchint to Vishal. You have 5 seconds. Go.
Catchword repetition pauses.
Fillers. He didn't
Last
say
one.
fillers.
Third one.
He said fillers.
With 3/4 of a point. No, I'm kidding. There is a point. Moving on to the next question. Which team here was an athlete in school? Vishal.
Shruti.
You're wrong. And the chance goes to Toastmaster Prajita.
It was Deepika.
You're right. She gets a point. So now it's Shruti with 2 points, Vishal with 1, and Prajita with 1 point. Who here? Now this is again rapid fire. Easy questions, so we go rapid fire, okay? Who can tell me the word of the day and phrase of the day? Toastmaster Shruti, go.
Word of the day is relish. Phrase of the day is a dog with a bone.
Shruti is just using her secretary skills a lot for the listener section, and it's very...
Okay. Now with that said, moving on to the next question. Where was the hostel that Toastmaster Rachna visited with her mom? Nishchint.
It's a place name or what?
Yes, place name.
Kunigal.
You're wrong. And the chance goes to Toastmaster Aditya.
Mudabidri.
You're right. So Toastmaster Aditya is on the board now. Don't give me the actual general full form, but what was the full form of B and E from Toastmaster Rachna's speech? Toastmaster Kriti.
I didn't buzz.
You didn't buzz?
You didn't reset it.
Okay. We'll go for this question again. I'm so sorry. What was the full form of B and E from Toastmaster Rachna's speech? Toastmaster Vishal.
B is beginning, D is death, and C is choices in the middle.
Toastmaster.
Same answer only. B is birth, D is death, C is choice.
Birth and death, not beginning and death. Toastmaster Vishal seems to be forgetting quite a lot today. So Aditya gets another point. That's Shruti with 3 points, Vishal, Prajita with 1 point each, and Toastmaster Aditya with 2 points. Next question. Okay. Bhujangasana is a yoga pose that is correlated with which animal? Toastmaster Kriti. Okay, I can't hear you.
Cobra.
Yes, that was right. So Kriti gets another point. And now we have Aditya, Shruti in the lead, followed by Aditya, and then Vishal, Aprajita, and Kriti with 1 point each. Let's go through 3 more questions and see if we need a tiebreaker. Which celestial body did Toastmaster Etisam tell had a role in play in deciding the number 7? Toastmaster Aprajita.
It was the sun.
That is not what I have written. The next person was Toastmaster Kriti. You're right. Kriti has 2 points, is tied with Toastmaster Aditya, but Shruti is in the lead with 3 points. Let's go. Thursday was named after Thor, but Friday was named after Toastmaster Vishal.
Friggs. Thor's mother.
You could take another go at it.
Yeah, Thor's mother, Friggs.
Sounds a little different from what Toastmaster Atisam said. So you want to take another go?
Frigus.
Okay, can we have Toastmaster Aprajita answer this?
I don't remember the pronunciation, but it was something like FRIG and something.
I'm just going to keep passing this till we get to the exact answer. Aditya. Toastmaster Aditya.
Frigga. Yes.
Right. So Toastmaster Aditya has 3 points and is now tied with Shruti. Did we lose Shruti? Okay. Name one of the 3 games that Toastmaster Kriti mentioned in her table topics. Toastmaster Nishchint.
One snake.
Did she mention that?
Yeah, she mentioned snake.
My bad, I didn't get that down. Okay, Toastmaster Nishchint gets another point. Toastmaster Saurabh said that sleep is more important than dash. Which game is that? Toastmaster Vishal.
PUBG.
So you have 2 points, but Aditya and Shruti are still tied at 3. So we will just have 2 more questions. Who said, oh, we'll just have 1 more question. Let this be the tiebreaker between Shruti and Aditya. So Toastmaster Shruti, are you here?
She is not here.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And Toastmaster Aditya, one of you will be answering this. Whoever buzzes first from among the 2 of you will get to answer it, okay? Who said this is not going to end anytime soon? Aditya, Shruti buzzed. Shruti, go.
Atisam?
No, okay. And the chance passes over to Toastmaster Aditya. Your turn. Just take a guess now.
Rachana.
Can I answer? Can I at least get 1 point?
I'll do it.
Vishal, you could go for it, but the point. Oh, okay, go for it.
Kriti.
Kriti told me.
Yeah, you were next in order
Just
with the buzzer.
offended that I wasn't the first choice. Literally, I'm the only one that makes comments.
And since Vishal was the next person in the buzzer, he got to answer that question. But with that, it's Shruti, Aditya, Vishal tied at 3 points, Kriti at 2, Aprajita and Nishchint at 1 point. So we have a 3-way tie for the best listener today. Congratulations, Toastmaster Shruti, Toastmaster Aditya, and Toastmaster Vishal. Thank you so much for participating in the listener session. Back to you, TMOD.
Thank you for that session, Toastmaster Lavanya. Despite it being a tie, I got like 8 chances. So, right. Our next section in the Toastmasters meeting is the evaluation section, where the evaluators for the speeches will present the report and the general evaluator will present his report for the entire meeting. With that said, I would like to hand over the virtual dais to our general evaluator of the day, Toastmaster Saurabh.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Vishal. Firstly, all the ladies and gentlemen present on here, just give a virtual clap for yourself. You guys put a wonderful show today. Okay. Before getting into the report of the meeting, let me just sum it up for the prepared speech session. The evaluator number 1 for today is an upcoming computer science engineer. She's a passionate dancer who sings for pleasure, and she would love nothing more than to just sit in her home and just Netflix and chill. The evaluator number 1 for today is Toastmaster Kriti. May I have your evaluation, please?
Thank you, Toastmaster, for that introduction. Am I audible clearly?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we first have a round of applause for Toastmaster Rachna for giving her first speech, icebreaker speech. Attempting it in itself is a big achievement, so kudos to you. I can't see Rachna. Is she here? Rachna, can you switch on your video? Is that possible? Okay, no problem. Yes, okay, perfect. So the starting was very well done. you told us, you gave us an introduction about yourself. You told us where you were from. So that set a stage for what was coming our way. You added a personal touch, and that really gave us a glimpse of who you are as a person. It helped us get to know you better. You told us how you got out of your comfort zone and stayed away from your parents, and how you turned your strict and serious hostel life into the best 2 years of your life. Not only that, you took us on that journey with you, which is very applaudable to do in a speech. So well done. You told us, you shared with us about your mental struggle, and that phase, although relatable to most students, is something very personal. So I appreciate and thank you for sharing that with all of us here. Coming to the quality of your speech, you had a clear voice throughout. You had eye contact for the most part. You used a few notes here and there, but it wasn't very distracting, so that's fine. You seemed very relaxed and you didn't seem nervous. I don't know if you were, but you didn't let that show, so good job. And like always, you had a beautiful smile on throughout the speech. And overall, great job done, Rachna. I can't wait for your next speech. Thank you. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kriti. Just to confirm, can someone confirm it was an icebreaker speech by Toastmaster Rachna, right? Yes, thank you so much. Toastmaster Rachna, for a first-time speaker, what a confidence. The confidence that I saw in you as a speaker today was wonderful. Just one suggestion from my side to you is that this is something which is like a prepared speech session. It is called as prepared speech session. I found out that you were a kind of natural speaker today. You were speaking naturally with your thing. Just next time, whenever you come up, try using a script. For example, as Toastmaster Kriti mentioned that you were using some notes today. It is completely justified for an icebreaker speech. Initially, Toastmasters does allow using notes for ice. I knew while you were explaining it, that was wonderful, Toastmaster Rachna. Keep doing this. This is something which comes by practice and not just by a day. So wonderful. So that's what I can say for you. Coming to our evaluator, Toastmaster Kriti, I just felt that you were a bit less, you fell short with your time or something. I didn't see the green card pop up. Nevertheless, you gave out very good points to Toastmaster Rachna. That was wonderful. You just suggested nominal changes that you need to have with respect to icebreaker speech. That is what most of the evaluators should do for icebreaker speech. Wonderful. Just a suggestion. You look very confident today. Just try to script more or just add few more points so that you can qualify for the time. And make sure that while you are evaluating, evaluation is something like a prepared speech. It's like a mixture of a prepared speech and table topic, which you need to do on spot, but you need to come prepared for it. So try using, not to use some notes for it. That would be helpful. And when you go for a competition, that would add some point for you. Okay, that's wonderful evaluation. Just script it out for a bit. A second evaluator for today is a Potterhead who loves Marvel and Sherlock Holmes. He sometimes listens to K-pop in a free time. An upcoming data scientist, Toastmaster Prajita. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Can I have your evaluation, please?
Thank you so much, General Evaluator, for the introduction. And can we all have a huge round of applause for Speaker Aditya, because he gave an amazing speech. So moving on to the evaluation, the title "We Can Do Yoga" was very relevant to your entire speech. The title itself told us a lot about what you were going to speak, so we were really looking forward to the content of your speech. You started with a brief and meaningful introduction which told us what yoga was. For all those who were not aware of what yoga initially is, that introduction was very good for those. Your transition from the starting to the body was very smooth. Your introduction and then the flow in which you went to the main part of the speech, which was your journey with yoga, was very smooth. You spoke about how you got into yoga, like how you had health issues earlier and how you thought of going into yoga, your entire journey, the beginning you had, all the initial difficulties that you faced. And that was really well told. The idea of you kept going was really good. Although I mean it's really difficult to start something, but I think it's more difficult to keep up with it, which you surely did, as you mentioned in your story. You explained different kinds of yoga postures along with the illustrations that you had on your slides, which really helped us to see and relate to it. Those images made us visualize those poses actually, so that was a very good idea. You also explained the benefits of each pose. So while you were going through each and every pose, you were telling us about it, and you also mentioned what particular yoga pose was for. So I think that was really good for all of us and the people who are not really aware of those yoga postures. You also mentioned the emphasis of yoga all around the world. You told us all how yoga brought all the world together and how people of different cultures are involved in yoga as well. Your transition from the body to the end was beautiful. The way you concluded it was very nice. You had a proper structured conclusion for that. You had clarity in your voice, and each and every point that you spoke was very simple, very clear, and very easy to understand. The topic overall that you chose was very interesting, and I think today when we are still in the middle of pandemic, when we can't go out, yoga is something that we can do at home. So this was really relevant to what's going on with all of our life. And you had clarity, you had eye contact with the audience the entire time. You also structured your speech according to according to the audience, so great audience awareness for that as well. I would give you 2 points of improvement that I would like to I would like you to bring in to your L1P22. The first of that being, we want to know more of your journey. Like you only told us the beginning. We wanted to know if you participated in any competitions, went to any events. So if you add that, it will be a little more personal story. And also the second thing is the name of the yoga. You could have put the name of the yoga poses along with the pictures. It would have been more easy to identify the poses and their names. So overall, it was a really great speech. Congratulations on finishing L1P21, and thank you so much. Over to you, General.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Prajita. Toastmaster Aprajita, just to few things. Initially, I felt that you stretched it a bit long because the time that when you started giving some improvement to the speaker, the red card already was on the spot. So I felt that from that time you stretched a lot by explaining what he actually did. Few suggestions to you. As I said for the evaluator number 1, that in icebreaker the feedback should be given very less. But in level 1 project 2 is something where it is meant to, if you go through the purpose of that evaluation sheet, it is meant to receive feedback, because that is the stage when the speaker is actually getting into the stage of public speaking. Okay. So try coming up with at least 5 or 6 feedbacks for level 1 project 2, because this will, you just gave some feedbacks regarding to the speech that he gave. You can also go for some of this, like how speaker presented his speech. For example, I have noted down these points for you, speaker number 2, if you can note it out. You just stood in one place and used it. Most of the time, this is an online platform. We can understand that you just stood it because of this frame issues. But most of the time, when we will be giving a speech or something on the stage, we need to have that stage courage. We need to move out. We need to use our hand gestures very well. We need to make sure that there is eye contact maintained properly. Here, we cannot analyze that. But I felt that you could have just moved a bit around the frame just by settling it down, just using it your hand gestures. And one more thing that is most important for a public speaker is that attire. Try dressing up with a formal dress whenever you're giving a prepared speech. Toastmaster of the day and the speaker should always come up with a formal dress. This is what one of the ex-district director has always suggested me in our meetings, that we should always come up with a formal thing, because this is a Toastmaster platform which is spread throughout the world, and we need to maintain the dignity regarding that. But to commend you with your speech, wonderful. Thanks for all those information with respect to yoga. I, being a lazy pig sitting in my house in this lockdown, should start doing those yogas and keep myself healthy. One small suggestion to you as well for speaker, that don't reintroduce yourself. The Toastmaster of the day did it so wonderfully he introduced you and everything. Then you started again by saying, "Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dash and Dash, and today I'll be going to speak on yoga." The theme, the title that you took for your speech, I already mentioned that there is something regarding yoga. So don't just instead, how you can start here is you can just say a quote on yoga and then say, like for example, yoga is dash and dash and dash and dash. Toastmaster of the day, this and this. Yoga is something which I have started recently practicing, and this has been. So if you do that, this will be more towards the prepared speech that as I said, you started it like a natural speaker. Wonderful. You are a very fantastic natural speaker, but come up with a prepared thing. You will initially learn it after moving through your pathways. But wonderful. Thank you so much for all those information regarding yoga. And I really saw that you presented with a PPT. And that is one thing which I see that very less often you're doing it in a first level of pathway. So kudos to you, buddy. Wonderful. Toastmaster Aprajita, wonderful. What I really liked in your evaluation is that you kept on motivating the speaker so that he should come up and give the speech next time also as well with the same confidence that he had today. So that is one thing which should be appreciated of yours. Kudos to you with respect to that. Okay, let's go to the evaluator number 3. Evaluator number 3 is a third year computer science engineering student. She loves playing chess because she feels that is something which can help a person to think better and take decisions perfectly. She is none other than Toastmaster Dharani. May I have your evaluation, please?
Thank you, General Evaluator. It's okay to make mistakes, but it's not okay to keep repeating the same ones. I'm the evaluator for today. My target speaker is Toastmaster Artisan, and his topic was Wonders of 7. Congrats for completing your level 1 and project 3 in dynamic leadership pathway. Let me start my evaluation by saying it was amazing topic. You are very good at picking up the topic, because always make sure when you pick up the topic, it has to be engaging and it has to connect with each and every person who are listening to your speech. So you are very good at picking up the topic. Raise your hands. I repeat, raise your hands. How many of you remember the Toastmaster Artisan speech? Not as a line by line, but the content what he delivered. Yes, I could see you are raising your hands. Why? Because in my perspective, he has such an interesting topic, Wonders of 7. In my perspective, he had such an interesting topic, Wonders of 7. I was looking at the audience faces initially, like when the team would introduce the topic, everyone are so curious to know what are those 7 wonders. And you picked up a topic very interesting, great Toastmaster Artisan. And you had an engaging session. You made your hand gestures and the voice modulation as a glue, so that the people and so that your speech and people who are listening or stick to your speech. And you gave a real-time experience or a real-time examples, like how you shared, like you shared how you chose your topic as a 7 wonders, and the history behind the 7 was really a unique thing. The 7 wonders, 7 gods, 7 days. That was really a unique thing. Connecting the days with the planets, it is also really a unique thing. I never think about that, the days with the planets, great artisan, because most of them was not aware of these days and the planets. This shows the research quality of you made and how deep you researched for your topic. And to challenge yourself, you can work on your facial expressions. You had a body language, but you can work on your facial expressions as well. And you have to work on your voice modulations. Like your voice modulation was good, but whenever you're telling something like 7 wonders, you have to put strength on 7 wonders so that you can work on that. And please add funny stories. People love to laugh. You can add humor by giving some real-time examples. But the great speech, artism, I think you're going really good. All the best for your next level. Thank you. Over to you, G.
Evaluation Toastmaster Dharani. That's the evaluation I was looking for today. You started with a quote. You just mentioned it. You just took it like a public speech, etc. You made sure that you sum the speech, also give some feedback, and also mention the good things and bad things. Just like how a burger is a patty in between and two breads on the top. So that's a wonderful thing. Toastmaster Dharani, just to suggest you a few things. Your script was really wonderful today, but you got stuck in between. That's something which should not happen in evaluation. I know you tried to recall it on the spot. That's wonderful. You showed that spirit, but make sure that you don't get stuck in between. Okay. In the leisure time that you have after table topic session to general evaluator, make sure that whatever points you have written, you script it down. That when should you say which point or these kind of things. Apart from that, wonderful. You give perfect recommendation to him, which I have noted down. Yes, Toastmaster Atesham, you really that was something which was like a wonderful research that you have done. These are the topics that we rarely see in a Toastmasters meeting. This is something which makes an audience to look into the speeches or something that you really took it out today. Same suggestion from my side. The main thing that I missed today was voice modulation, because you did a fantastic research over there, but the voice modulation just got it a bit down because the explanation sometimes it went a little backwards. For example, you said Thursday is not named after this thought, but this thought. Instead of it, if you could have said Thursday is not named after this thought, but it is named after this thought. So just like this, if you would have done that, that would have been include your voice modulation. And just to one point to Dharni as well, just this is one thing which I got from my mentor when I was practicing for division level evaluation contest, is that whenever we give evaluation, let us make sure that we don't mention voice modulation, because voice modulation is a very vast field. There are 3 P's. Instead of saying voice modulation, you can go for 3 P's. That is pitch, pause, and pace. These are the one thing which makes the voice modulation. So come up with, for example, you suggested this. You could have said that instead of voice modulation, your pauses and paces were wonderful, but your pitch, I felt that it was very constant throughout your speech. It could have gone some up and some down, sometimes down. That would have given more insights to the speaker. Okay, wonderful evaluation, Toastmaster Dharni. Wonderful speech, Toastmaster Adesham. Now let's go to the table topic master. Table topic master. What a wonderful. May I have her on the screen? Where is she? Can you sum yeah, exactly. Wonderful role done there. If I have to just mention it in a phrase, the phrase for today, which is a dog in the bone, a dog with a bone, is one thing that really suits your thing. You saw that you made sure that you give opportunity to at least 90% of the people present over here. Everyone came here, they should speak and go. They should just not go just like sitting as an audience and go. That's a wonderful role done over there. Just a suggestion to you. I got it from one of the clubs in Australia. They said, the general evaluator over there said that if the speakers who come up for table topics are confident enough to speak throughout the session, then that is the failure of table topic master. Because table topic session is something where people need to improve their impromptu session. So if the speakers are fluent throughout the session, at that time, the table topic master should need to check that whether the topics given are that easy that any speaker who comes up can reveal that. The topics that you came up with today were wonderful. It connected to theme, and it was something which was nostalgic. Whenever I started listening to all the other speakers, it was something reminding me, oh, when evaluator one Toastmaster Kriti said about Among Us is a business, I was thinking, why did I love Among Us when most of the people here are hating it? So these kind of things, this was nostalgic. But at the meantime, it would have come up with a topic which can connect to theme with some more difficulties that would have put the speakers in some thinking more. If they would have thought it, then that would have improved their impromptu speaking session. That is wonderful. But wonderful role done today. Wonderful role done. A huge round of applause to our table topic masters today. Before getting into the regular this thing, I would like to go for my tag team. Toastmaster Nishant, are you ready with your report? If yes,
yeah, I'll share my screen for it.
Sure.
Yeah, a wonderful meeting. We start the meeting on time. I just want to say the Toastmaster Kriti, the evaluator 2, and Toastmaster Aparajita, the evaluator 3. She took a 1 minute 58 seconds. This is like under the minimum timings, and Aparajita, she took 3 minutes 32 seconds, which is
I guess there is a bandwidth issue with Toastmasters. Am I audible to you? Can someone Toastmaster today? Can you confirm?
Yeah, you're audible. Nischint has, I believe there's
Okay.
a network issue on his end. He
Sure,
rejoined the meeting.
Let's wait for him. Toastmaster Nishant, are you there? Are you back?
Yeah, Toastmaster. My laptop got stuck. I
No
was
issue.
connected from mobile.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Go ahead. You are saying something? Are you done with your report?
No, I'll share my report in the chat box.
Sure. No issues. Can you just state out who all got disqualified? That's it.
In the evaluator 2 and the evaluator 3, and in table topic, the Toastmaster Francis, Toastmaster Evangeline, and I think that's it.
Okay, that's wonderful. Firstly, a round of applause. A round of applause to our timer. He did it wonderfully. I saw this Excel sheet with all those colors, and he came up with, like, most of the time I see whenever I'm a timer, I use this Excel sheet. I just put qualified yes or no. But he made sure that whether he stopped it in green section or yellow section or red section. That is wonderful. One simple suggestion to you, Toastmaster Nation: start timing everybody. Okay, start timing everybody, be it sergeant at arms or president. Even they have prepared, like, even while giving the presidential address, Toastmaster Aprajita would have calculated that I would be taking this time. So just don't. It's okay if you don't tell it in the meeting, but if you can just send it in your WhatsApp group or somewhere, then that would give every speaker a real data that, or an insight that what time they have actually taken, so that they can come up with whether it was too long or too short. Okay, wonderful role. This Toastmaster Evangeline Drew, can I have your counter report, please?
Yeah, I will be saying my report, those who are having high CRPFs. First, I will go with general evaluator only. General evaluator is having 18 R's and 2 and 4 repetitive words. Then I'll go with second speaker, Aditya. He's having 10 and 2 and so, like, he had used repetitive filler words and 7 repetitive words. And evaluator 2, Aprajita, she has 6 1 and 1 repetitive word. Then TM Dharani, she had 5 2 filler words like so, 1 pause, 3 pause, and 1 repetitive word. And Tia Modi Vishal has 5 and 1 pause, 2 repetitive words. And rest of them are having 2 and 1 to 2 and 1 repetitive word. That's it. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Evangeline. Wonderful. You noted down general evaluators everything. That what made me happy. That exactly, that's the one thing which every club should follow. That even general evaluator is not perfect. Even he will be having some flaws. One simple suggestion to you: whenever you are having the counting these filler words and CPRFs, everything, make sure you count it only up to 5. If the speaker crosses it more than 5, just say more than 5. Because I'm an experienced Toastmaster. I'm like 3-year-old Toastmaster right now, so I can understand that I still have this flaws. But there are some speakers who have joined the club very recently, and they joined. The main reason for them joining this club is like they might be very nervous to speak on stage, so they join Toastmasters. At that time, they might get awkward, or they might feel that this is the problem that, oh, I got this awkwardness in front of everybody. Should I speak again in the next week or not? That is one thing which might be into their heads. And this will cause some problems to your VPM when the renewal cycle comes. Okay. So make sure that you count it only up to 5. After 5, it's like more than 5 times. That's it. Okay. May I have Toastmaster Deepika's grammarian with her report, please?
Can I get the permission of sharing the screen, please? Is my screen visible? Since we are lacking in time, I would keep it short. And there were very few incorrect usages of grammar, and people used a lot of good words. There was life and death, perseverance, nostalgia, unicorns and rainbows, history being repeated, intellectuals, story of 7. I like that because 7 is also a special number to me. And the improper usages of grammars were persons to people, funny things to funny moment, and whole screen makes all those improper usages. Not so good could have been inappropriate. Stays could have been stay. Getting addictions could have been get addicted. Also, I used bore me where I could have used not fascinated me. And people also used screwed up, really scared, let me just be, and all those things which could have been used in a good phases. Also, coming to the word of the day and the phrase of the day, the general evaluator Saurabh, he used both word of the day and the phrase of the day. So that was nice. And the phrase of the day was used by Vishal and Aitizam once. So yeah, that's my report. Thanks.
So much, Toastmaster Deepika. That was a wonderful, short but sweet report that you mentioned. Small suggestion from my side to you is, you mentioned, you made sure that you didn't mention the names of the people who have used inappropriate grammar. Wonderful. But to the people who have used wonderful usages of grammar, if you can just take their name, that, for example, this person said this, that would give them a pride that, oh, I used something very good in the grammar, and that in turn gives some feel like, for example, if you have invited your friend in the meeting as a guest, and the grammarian says that you have used this word, then that would be a helpful thing for you to gain some popularity between your friend circle. And that is something which can be a pride moment for all the speakers who have used the good usage of grammar. Although, very wonderful report. Kudos to you. Now, my report, simple. Let's start with the Sergeant at Arms. Sergeant at Arms, wonderful. You made sure that you started asking the questions in the initial phase itself. And that is one thing which made sure that the audience can get their attention towards you. Usually we see when someone starts this thing, the audience will just like, okay, they are doing something with their mobile or something. Until president comes, no one values Sergeant at Arms in the initial stage. But here today, I saw that you started using these questions, you started building the stories. That is wonderful, this thing. The only suggestion that I have for today is try being more energetic. You have this question, you have the perfect script for today, but in the initial stage, I felt that your energy was a bit low. That if you would have increased your energy, then that would have attracted more like towards like, I would be more concentrated towards you. What is she exactly trying to speak? And second thing, with respect to the voting link that you sent in the group, I just have one suggestion. Go to settings and restrict the only for one response, because you see, my name was not there in the speaker. But suppose tomorrow, if I come as a speaker, even if I give a very bad speech, if I see that I can submit my response again and again, I'll just go and vote for myself again and again just to win that award. Okay, just make sure that you restrict it for only once. That is the thing. Else then, wonderful role. Presiding officer, may I have you on the screen? Where are you? Okay, she's there. Presiding officer, wonderful role done. You made sure that you introduced the Toastmaster in the initial stage and then go for the theme. And you made sure that you connected yourself with respect to the theme. A lot of president I have seen when I was president in the initial stage, I used to say story of someone else, but you made sure that you come up with your own speech, because president field is something where you will be kept held for 6 months. Every week you need to come up with a new script. At that time, you'll miss out on giving a prepared speech or something. But today you made sure that you give it a kind of a prepared speech session. Wonderful role done over there as a presiding officer. One suggestion from my side to you is you introduce the Toastmaster International's this thing. That is wonderful. What I would like you to do from next meeting is start introducing the start. How did you start this MVJCE or MVJCE Toastmasters Club? Because if I go on Google and search typing like Toastmaster International, I'll see that Ralph Smedley found it out or something. Do mention about Ralph Smedley, that is important, but keep it short. But be focused on how did you start your club, because I see that I was just going through your PR page and I see that you are one of the founder members. So if you can introduce what efforts it took for you, for your team to start a new club in a college club. I see that I am a college club and it is very difficult to get members over there because some members tend to like, please pay our fees, we will join. That is something which we face in our college. So if you can explain the efforts that took in your club, that would be a giving insight to all the guests that, oh, this club took this thing, these all effort to start this club. And today they see they're standing this tall. I need to join this club because even I can stand that tall. Okay. This is one suggestion from my side to you. Okay. Now addressing the elephant in the room, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Vishal. Ladies and gentlemen, firstly, give him a round of applause. He made sure that he used this technology very wonderful. The presentation that he used through Canva, wonderful Toastmaster of the day. As I said, something like nostalgia, it was connected to regarding that, all those graphics he used, all those elements that were meant, it was wonderful. You made sure that you keep on talking, not only for the first segment, but also in the later segment. You connected one of the section of your speech to the table topics as well. That is wonderful. Two suggestions from my side is that come up with a formal attire. Okay, you are the person who is on the limelight today, and you should not come on like on a t-shirt or something. I know this is an online meeting, so we can just ignore that. But if it is on the in your college, make sure that you come up with a formally dressed, etc. And second thing is that try using the stage. Even you have got this opportunity to anchor this. So instead of sitting and speaking on one place, get up, use some etc. hand gestures, all these things. You used it. You used it. I saw that. That is wonderful. But if you're standing and giving it it is just like a cherry on the cake. Okay. So all of all, it was wonderful Toastmaster of the day. I really saw that you were very active today, and you made sure that you were just like that team leader who takes all his team with one direction and take it to a end of the successful meeting. That was I saw it today. A huge shout out to your secretary Shruti Reddy, who helped me a lot for managing this thing. I just got all of your contacts yesterday, the introduction and everything. Secretary or president, can you please answer? Do you don't give these minutes of the meeting in your meetings, or is it like you upload it in your website or somewhere? How's the minutes of the meeting considered in your meeting?
So we have this report which the secretary makes, and we'll also forward the report to you after we have this meeting, so you can have a look and understand how we do that. As of now, we don't have a website. We are planning to have it soon. So once we have it, everything will be uploaded there.
Sure. Wonderful initiative. Till then, what I can suggest is if president can be okay with it, give a space to secretary when you are giving your presidential address in the initial start or in the end start, so that she can give some minutes of the meeting of the previous meeting. That can be some insightful, or what do you say, some memories that you had in the last week. That will be, for example, it might remind Vishal that, oh, I spoke on this games and etc. And after this is some kind of a nostalgic event. So if possible, please give it. This is just a suggestion, not any correction of this thing. Just a suggestion that if you can have your minutes of the meeting in front of all the guests, that would be wonderful. So all in all, I really loved your meeting today. It really, like, I feel that whenever I go to other clubs, there are some old people or there are very young people who are like in their own way. But today I saw that all the members here are of my age, and that connected to me to this meeting. So all in all, wonderful meeting. Congratulations Toastmaster Aparajita and team for putting a wonderful show today. Just before getting down, if I have given any comments or any suggestion that might have hurt someone's feeling, then I take it back and congratulations. That's my time, ladies and gentlemen. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you for that wonderful report, Toastmaster Saurabh. You covered all the points that were there in the meeting. So I really enjoyed the report. With that said, we've come to the end of our meeting. So your sergeant at arms will drop the link to both voting for your best table topic speaker and best role takers of the session. So those will be in the link right now. And until then, and while you're voting, I will share my screen because I have one more slide, which I made. The future I really just wanted to show the slide. There wasn't much with it because it was so nice to show. With that said, when you go after this meeting, I want you all to reflect on all the fun times you had playing video games and reflect on this meeting and how much you enjoyed it. And while you're doing that, you can also don't forget to vote for your role takers and table topic speakers. With that said, I had a lot of fun creating this presentation. For me, video games was always special, and it was really fun to create this. And I'm glad a lot of you enjoyed it a lot. So thank you all for coming to the meeting, and thank you all for staying till the end. With that said, this is where I end my session, and I will hand it over to our presiding officer, Toastmaster Aparajita. You're on mute, Toastmaster Aparajita.
Okay, first of all, thank you so much, Toastmaster Vishal, for having such an amazing session today. I think video games is a topic which we all can relate, and sitting at home, this is what we do all day long, I believe. So amazing topic. Also kudos to our general evaluator and table topics master for putting up such a great evaluation for general evaluator and the amazing topics that were brought up during the table topic session. Can we have a huge round of applause first of all? Okay, let us speak to our guests now. So I can see Toastmaster Anupam, who has joined us for this meeting. Could you please unmute yourself and tell us about your experience?
Yep, it was good. So I'm originally from a college club as well. So I've been in Toastmasters since 2017. And so it was a good time that I had when I came back here, a very energetic meeting and really good speeches and table topics that you have here. And I don't have any comments. I really enjoyed the meeting. And oh yeah, the listener role was really good. I never expected that buzz round. So that was my first time ever experiencing that. So it was really good. I had a lot of fun, even though I couldn't really answer any of the questions. So keep it up. So I'll really look forward to coming back here again. I was actually invited through Divya. So thanks for inviting me, Divya. Glad to be here.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Anupam. We are looking forward to have you in more meetings in upcoming days. We also have our guest, Dikshita. So could you please unmute yourself and tell us about your experience today?
It was really very good session. I found everyone very energetic. Being this session made me feel more energetic. So I would like to join the session and come up with more great ideas also for you all. And yes, and all the rounds were really very good. Everyone, I would like to say
thank you so much.
Yes.
Yes. Go on.
I'm facing up some network issue. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dikshita. We would love to have you as a member of MVJCE Toastmasters Club, and we are really glad you enjoyed today's meeting. We also have our general evaluator, Toastmaster Saurabh, who's from SDM CET Club. Although you've already mentioned about your experience, is there something you would like to add?
Nothing. So yeah, simple as I said, this is a group of each. So I have been a member of college club. So stay motivated, guys. Even if you feel sometimes low, stay motivated. I really love the show that you have put today. Wonderful. I'll just share our college links as well. So if you all guys are free on Saturdays at 5 to 7 p.m., please join our club's meeting. We would love to host you.
Thank you so much, Toastmasters. We would love to attend your club meetings, and you can always drop your links to any one of us here in the meeting. We also have Toastmaster Francis from PSN Toastmasters Club. So could you please unmute and tell us about your experience today?
I don't know if I'll call myself guests anymore because this is my third meeting. Like always, I enjoyed it a lot. A great topic by Temuri Vishal, and looking forward to attend more meetings and take up roles. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Francis. And finally, SAA, do we have the results for today's meeting?
Yes.
Okay, go on.
Okay. We are at the end of our meeting. We are at the result. So, okay. Let me go first with the speakers part. So our second runner-up with rating 3.91 out of 5, Toastmaster Aditya, and first runner-up with rating 4.25, Toastmaster Rachana, and the winner is the Toastmaster Artisan with the rating 4.58. Congrats, Artisan. And our best table topic speaker is Toastmaster Vishal. Congrats, Vishal. And the tag member, timer, Toastmaster Nishin, 4.25. And the R counter, Toastmaster Evangeline, 3.83. And the winner is the grammarian, the Toastmaster Deepika with the ratings of 4.5. Congrats, Deepika. The evaluator 1, Toastmaster Kriti, 3.83. Evaluator 2, Toastmaster Aparijita, 4.25. And evaluator 3, Toastmaster Dharani, 4.58. And the winner is evaluator 3, Toastmaster Dharani. Congrats. The role taker. T-Mod, Toastmaster Vishal, 4.58. GE, Toastmaster Saurabh, 4.41. And table topic master, Toastmaster Divya, 4.5. The listener, Toastmaster Lavanya, 4.5. So we had a tie between a listener and the table topic master with a 4.5 of ratings. Both are the winners for today's meeting. Congrats once again. And the meeting rate is 9.5 out of 10. So we are doing well. We can go ahead with this meeting segment. So yes, this is with my results. Over to you, PO, presiding officer.
Thank you so much, Dharani, for the amazing report. And at the end, before we conclude the meeting, can I request everyone to turn their videos on so that we can take a picture? Lavanya, Dikshita, Etisam Nishchint, Toastmaster Anupam, could you please turn on your videos? Nishchint? Okay. So everybody say, cheese, I'm going to take a picture in 2 seconds. Yeah. Thank you so much for this. We come to the end of our
Aparijita, 1 minute.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had made a mistake here in the roll take form. So we had a Vishal T-Mod rating with a 4.58. So he is our winner of the roll taker. Congrats, Vishal. And sorry for this inconvenience.
It's okay, Dharani. So with this, we conclude our 42nd MVJCE Toastmaster meeting, and we shall now stop recording. Have a nice weekend, guys, and take care of yourself. Thank you so much for attending.